Whoa! Alright, so we got it all cut up and everything. We did keep the inside fender well, but we did actually open this up as well. So next we're on step 6, and that is we have to unbolt the 4 bolts holding the back of the fender to the body tub and remove what is left of the inch that we left here. We have to keep the bolts that we take out because they'll be reused with the new fender. We should now only have the inside fender left, which we will. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I've got a 13mm socket on a 1/2 inch ratchet. So what we're going to do is we have to unbolt these 4 bolts right here just to get them off of the back of the fender and get them off the back of the body tub and the fender so we can use these again to latch the new fender on.
Two hours later.
Alright, well, aside from how stubborn rust is, I just want to give a big shout out to my grandparents for making this thing a whole lot easier to work with. So, love you guys. Thank you for the Christmas present. So, now that we got these bolts out, what we have to do is we have to put the fender on. No, we don't have to do that actually. First, we have to cut the rest of this off, and then we can put the fender on. I'm really excited if you can't tell. Pull out a little bit. Alright, you got the glasses on? Yeah, good. Whoa!
You alright?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not cut myself. Oh, yeah, I didn't
Alright.
have gloves on.
That was a really bad decision on my part. Okay?
Yeah.
So I see what I did wrong. We'll figure out another way next time. Alright?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
That was close.
That was terrifying.
Probably would have adopted you in the ER or something. I don't know.
I'm glad you're okay.
Me too.
Bad decision on my part.
Welcome
Sorry about
to
that.
family. Sorry about your finger.
Yeah. Alright, so that is not how you do that. My bad. Okay, so step 6 is complete. We have the outer fender completely removed. The inner fender is what is left. When we bought these fenders, we knew that the instructions were a little bit, lacking. We did buy this from Morris 4x4 Center. They have a video on their website as well for these fenders. There's still some information that I think that could be helpful, so hopefully we can share from some of our learning here today. So after the outer fender is removed, you do still have the inner fender left. There is still a little bit of a lip all the way back up here to the tub. On the inside, you do have the ECM, and so as you notice when we are cutting vertically down that line, we had to be really careful with, we were using the cutoff wheel, and then we got down here, we were using that Sawzall, but we were having someone kind of keep an eye on the top to make sure we weren't cutting into that the computer there. We've also got a bracket here at the bottom that is bolted on. We want to keep that bolt there. I believe we're going to use it on the other piece, but you just don't want to be cutting through that bracket. So we're really close there. And I don't know if you can see, if you come on over this way, we do have a bracket on the inside of the fender here as well that I believe is holding the window washer fluid and maybe the engine coolant overflow. So there's a couple of brackets around on this inner fender that you just want to be careful and cautious of as you're making that vertical cut on the inside there. And so we have everything cut apart. I believe the next step is going to tell us to start installing the new fender. But what I want to do is, as you see, we've kind of got some bent pieces. We've got a lot of little just pokies and stickies, I guess. I don't know what we're going to call that. But we want to go ahead and I'm going to clean all that up just with some sandpaper, where one of the boys will do that. One of the things that we're going to do, on this project, we're fitting these fenders simply just to make sure that we cut this well and it all fits. and then we're taking the Jeep apart, and the body's going to go get painted. So I know, you know, there's going to be some comments about, oh, look, you know, when we just made that cut, we scratched it up. You know, sparks were flying all over the engine, stuff like that. We're tearing this whole thing apart. So we weren't too worried about trying to keep everything clean and you know, just, you know, pristine, because we're rebuilding the whole Jeep. So I'm not worried about scratching this, because we've got plenty of scratches and rust that we're going to get repaired. So we do want to clean up these edges real quick, just so nobody gets cut, and then we'll fit the new fender and see how it works. So let's get started.
Sleeping dog. Oh, she's no longer sleeping dog. She's awake dog.
So we got just a sanding disc with some coarse sandpaper on it with a you know, rubber backer. I don't know what this thing's called, but it's a spinning tool with a sanding disc. So that's what we're going to use. So Brandon, what we're going to do is just you know, like you said, lever just like everything else. We're not trying to remove the paint. We're not trying to, you know, sand off anything like that. All we're going to do is just run it along the top surface here, just to get rid of all the catches. Okay, and then we'll flip it over. We'll do the same on the bottom surface. I'm going to get something and kind of clean this up a little bit so that it's not all bent up. But I just want you to clean up this outer surface where we've cut, and then the same thing on the underside. All right, so safety glasses, you got them? Yep. You're good to go. So the next step in the instructions is to fit the new fender onto the out here and see how it fits. I have some doubts. The way that we fit the template, you know, we kind of fit it up here toward the front. I'm concerned that that's going to be too long. We're going to find out when we fit that up there. But before we do that, what I want to do as well is just kind of show right down in here in this area, there is some rubber that is kind of keeping your fluid, you know, your water, your salt, and whatever road debris from getting up inside. Because we're going to be tearing this Jeep apart, I'm going to go ahead and remove this rubber now. It's just got a couple of the body, I don't know, we call them just body Christmas trees, those push pin things on the front, and then on the back I think there was some bolts. So we're going to remove this piece of rubber at this point. That's going to allow us to get access to some of these bolts a little bit easier, and since we're tearing it apart, that's already going to be out of the way. So we're going to do that real quick. Okay, so we did remove the body trim pieces on the lower part of this inner fender. This actually goes around the body mount, so I'm not going to be able to pull it out at this time. But what we do have is we can get this out of the way to get this lower bolt, and that doesn't require us from reaching all the way down through here, which is going to be difficult when the fender's on. So we'll be able to get these bolts in pretty well, and we'll see how that thing fits up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the how that outer fender fits. What is the... Oh, it's this. So, okay, just a minute. Let's get this fender off. We're gonna have to remove that flare. All right.
Yep.
So as you can see, we've pointed this out before. The floorboard in this Jeep is completely gone. I can put my hands on up in here, and so our body guy is going to be fixing this all up. So that's why we don't mind just go ahead and cut these off. We're going to clean all this whole side will get repaired, and it'll just be flat sheet metal when we're done. So we'll pull these steps and stuff like that off, but we just got the flare out of the way so we can set that fender in here. So let's try again, Brennan.
All right.
But we're just going to slowly just cut. I just don't want to overcut. So we're going to cut little pieces at a time, fit, cut, fit. And then once we have a clear picture, we'll let you know what we did and what we learned, and we'll be faster on the other side. Studs. So there's nothing on the inside we need to deal with. So what we're just showing, the boys were, often when you're trying to remove a nut, you're looking for the bolt head so you can hang on to it. And so Ashton had pointed out he wasn't sure where the bolt head was on the inside. So we've pulled the carpet back. We'll get a shot here and show you. We pulled the carpet back and you can see there's just studs in the firewall. So there's not a bolt head on the other side. The hope is that whatever that's welded to on the firewall is going to stay, and we're going to go ahead and pull one more nut off. Because we need to trim away a little bit more of this for that tube to fit, the way this bracket is held here that's holding the washer fluid, we're going to go ahead and just remove our washer fluid container. Like I said, we're tearing the Jeep apart, so it's okay for us to just take stuff out because it's not going to go back in until we're all ready to reassemble the Jeep anyway. So we're going to take the washer fluid container out, and on the inside of that is a looks like just a number 2 Phillips bit. We're going to pull out of there, and then the whole container should just slide up out of this bracket. So Ashton's going to take that screw out. All right, so we got that screw out on the inside. In theory, this washer will just pick straight up now. It slides right out of the inner fender well here. And got some wires in the way. We pulled these wires up when we were cutting just so that we didn't get them in the way. So now I'm just going to tuck those out and pull the tube up, and it comes right on up. Alright, so we just grabbed a bucket. We're going to just take our window washer fluid and just empty it into our bucket.
This may look like blue Gatorade, but please don't drink this.
All right, so we disconnected both of the lines, both of the pumps. I got away with 2 pumps. I'm not sure.
Maybe the back window washer.
That's what happens with rusty bolts. Ta-da! Awesome. Give it that.
This one stayed alive. 1 out of 3 survived. That works too. Let gravity do the work for you.
Alright. So before I trim that inner fender well, what I want to do is just figure out how thick this tube is. This is the tube on the inside of that fender well that was bumping up against where the washer fluid mount was. So So I just want to kind of measure the height of this so I know how much of that I need to trim off, because we know that the outside of this is flush with the body of the Jeep. So I'm just going to measure this, make sure we trim enough off, and then we'll go and start trimming some more. So the tubes on this fender are about 2 inches in outer diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and trim 2 inches off of that bracket and all the way down, and then we'll get this set. Let's go. The outside of the metal a little too much. What you want to do is get it through down here, okay? But only just like this much, and then just slowly move it up. Okay. So it's cutting, kind of, on the top, like here, okay? You guys are spending too much time over here just going back and forth. Okay. We're not gonna get a clean cut down. All right, so we go ahead and made some room for the tube there. I think I may have made a mistake. We're gonna find out. The good thing is this is going to the body shop, so we can have them fix up with some sheet metal on that inner fender, whatever we did mess up. So the mistake that I did made is I thought we were supposed to have a bigger lip on the back of here. Something I read online said that you wanted to leave a lip back here. That Jeep was a TJ, so maybe the YJ is just a little bit different. So we just tried to fit the fender on, and it is not going to fit because there is a 2-inch tube running right here, under the top of that fender. So this is in the way. Originally the template, kind of come around here. When he first drew this line, the template came and ended right here. And I do think that that is probably what we have to do. So it looks like I need to do some more cutting. We're gonna take, just kind of start right here, I guess, and we're gonna cut all the way down where the template originally would have been, where that line is. So we're gonna do that, and yeah, I'm just gonna cut originally where that template was, and we may end up just cutting off there, is what I think needs to happen. The good news is we're learning on this one, and the Jeep's going to a body shop. So when we're all said and done, if you guys wanna do this, you won't have to make all the mistakes that we've made. So we're gonna do some more cutting. So when you're working on vehicles, sometimes you have to make some modifications, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this before we paint the Jeep. So mark the bottom of that lip, so that if I grind, I'm gonna grind on the fender. All right? Yeah. Are you below it or right at the bottom of it?
Bottom.
I want you to be.
All right. After many, many tries and many, many cuts, we have found that there's one more thing that we need to do. That one more thing is we need to grind the tar out of this little lip right here. This will allow us to kind of move it, so these bolts can fit in, and then we will be done with the first half.
All right, guys, we learned a lot of lessons on what to cut and what not to cut on our Jeep YJ here, getting this driver's side fender installed. I'll tell you, I really like it. I like that it's sticking out the extra 3-inch flare. I like the way it's going to look. And once we get this all blasted and it'll might be body color to match whatever color we paint this thing, that'll be really awesome. So this is kind of what we have here, as you can kind of walk around and see. It looks really nice here on the front as well. We got that extra, it just matches the front of the grill. So as we get around the front of the Jeep, you can see the difference between this aftermarket fender and the stock fender. The stock fenders come down quite a bit. This is really going to open it up. And I know right now it looks a little bit, these are really small tires. It looks a little bit goofy. These are really worn tires too. But we are going to be putting a lift kit on this Jeep. So it should sit about 2.5 to 4 inches taller. And then we'll also have some larger wheels and tires. So they're going to stick out just a little bit. In our state here, tires can stick out about 2 inches past your fender well. So we got to keep an eye on that. But I think we're going to be good to go as we get a larger tire on there. And I don't know, we're going to call it a night for today. And tomorrow we will get started and get that passenger side fender done. So we're going to get some rest, and we'll see in just a minute.